Most people say Qatar Airways QSuite is the best business class in the world, and having just flown it ourselves, we totally get why. But for this leg of the journey, we're flying Qatar Airways non-Qsuite business class on the A350 from Doha to Nairobi. That means no private suite for us on this flight, but we're still excited to see how this version of Qatar's business class compares. So let's jump on board and find out. Today's flight begins from one of Qatar Airways' many bus gates at Doha Hamad International Airport, where we've just wrapped up a luxurious layover experience. For a detailed overview of Qatar Airways business class lounges, check out our previous video where we give a full tour.
Morning, welcome to Qatar Airways. Did I traveling to Nairobi?
Yes. Pretty good. Thank you.
We had arrived at the gate early only to find out that business class boards last, as there is a separate business class bus. Tonight's flight is a red-eye departing at 2:25 a.m. It's only about 5 hours to Nairobi, so this will just be a short video since we'll be attempting to get some much-needed rest before our safari tomorrow. As we rode the bus, we were surprised just how far we were being driven to get to the plane. It almost felt like we were being taken to another airport. The drive took almost 20 minutes, so this is definitely a flight you want to be at the gate on time for. As mentioned, tonight's flight is on the A350. While QSuites can be found on about a third of Qatar Airways A350s, the majority of them feature the reverse herringbone business class, which we'll be showing you today. As we boarded the A350, we were curious to see if this version of Qatar Airways business class could still be considered one of the best in the world. Our first impression was that all the staff were extremely friendly, even friendlier than the staff on our previous QSuite flight. After being seated, the flight attendants came around to introduce themselves and check whether we wanted to eat after takeoff or just before landing. Just took the bus here, and we're in A350 this time, so it's different than the QSuite. For this flight, we're seated in window seats 2A and 3A. Even though there are no sliding doors on this seat, it still feels pretty private since all seats face away from the aisle. I had lots of legroom and the seat was very comfy. We were provided with plush blankets, a large fluffy pillow, and one of these cute little ones. Next to the window was a small ledge to place my welcome drink and snacks. Underneath it were the USB ports and universal power outlet. Inside the armrest was a small compartment where I stored my purse. Above was a reading lamp, literature pocket, and water bottle. And here we have a remote for the TV, and then the headphone jack and all the seat controls. On the other side of my seat was another small storage compartment containing the headphones. And I didn't know it at the time, but this right here is a storage compartment for your shoes. The tray table smoothly slides out from under the TV and unfolds. Since this is a shorter flight, we were given just a basic amenity kit. It contained an eye mask, earplugs, and socks. Okay, let's check out the menu. There's both a late night dining menu and a breakfast menu. We had already pre-ordered our dinner option online, and since we were wide awake due to the time difference, we chose to eat right after takeoff. I chose the Qatari option not on the menu, whereas Ryan went with the lamb shawarma. As for the drinks, I went with the apple cooler this time, and Ryan got the orangeade. We just love Qatar's mocktails. While waiting for my dinner, I checked out the entertainment system. This remote was different than the one in QSuites, and as you can see, it was not all that responsive. The movie selection, however, was just as good as in QSuites. Our flight departed right on time, and shortly after takeoff, I was brought my apple cooler and a small bowl of nuts. Not long after, our meals were served. Honestly, the food on this flight was even better than on our last flight in QSuites, but that's probably because the catering was out of Qatar rather than Seattle. This Qatari dish was so flavorful and delicious. The basket of warm bread served with butter and chili oil was very good as well. As I ate my dinner, I realized that everyone else around me was fast asleep. I guess everyone else chose to have breakfast before landing instead of having dinner, and it made me second guess whether we should have done the same. Ryan and I quickly finished up our mains and enjoyed our delicious dessert, which was an orange and cherry layered cake with ice cream. After dinner, I checked out the bathroom, which was pretty much the same as on our QSuite flight. Dental kits and shaving kits were provided along with some other toiletries. Then it was back to my seat to try to get a few hours of sleep. Since this is a short flight, no pajamas or mattress pad were provided, so I just enjoyed some karak chai and got my seat into bed mode. I'm only 5'3", so the bed was plenty spacious for me, but I could see how the footwell might feel tight for those who are taller. I'll show a better view of it in the morning when there's more light. Less than 2 hours later, I was awoken to the clatter of breakfast being served. Unfortunately, no one came around to ask if we wanted breakfast, but I guess it was because we had chosen to eat after takeoff instead. I wanted to sleep some more, but it was hard with all the commotion in the cabin and the bright lights. Now that we have better lighting, here's a better view of the size of the footwell. The bed itself was quite wide, but you can see that the space does get fairly narrow by my feet. Regardless, I still found the bed very comfortable. As we approached Nairobi, the flight attendants came around to spray the cabin and informed us that if we had any plastic bags, that we needed to dispose of them before we left the airport because plastic bags are banned in Kenya and we could face a fine. As we continued our descent, we got our first glimpses of Kenya. I always get so excited when seeing a country for the very first time. Upon landing, we boarded a bus to take us to the terminal where we proceeded through immigration. All in all, it was a great flight, and despite it not being in QSuites, Qatar Airways still delivered a fantastic business class experience. Let us know in the comments below whether or not you think this type of business class is still worth it or if you'd only prefer QSuites. Next up, the real adventure begins. We are headed straight to the incredible JW Marriott Masai Mara for a luxurious safari. Make sure you click that subscribe button below this video so that you don't miss out on the epic adventures we have coming up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on safari.